Hello, Pisces, and welcome to this, your very first reading of 2024. For those of you who are new here, a very warm welcome. Thank you so much for trusting and clicking on this video. And for those of you who are returning, thank you so much for continuing to support my channel. I'm going to make a couple of announcements before I get into your reading. The first announcement is right now, since December 15th through to January 15th, I am offering my once a year and only once a year special. This special is a 13 card reading. It is a personalized reading with me live on a Zoom call. It is not pre-recorded. It is not an email that I'm going to send out to you. It is a live call with me. It is $90. It takes approximately 1 hour. And during that 1 hour, I'm going to pull 13 cards for you, giving you an overview of 2024. Now, for those of you who are perhaps in one of those countries that has a currency that is very valuable against the Canadian dollar, this is a fantastic deal for you guys because my site is set up so that I am paid in Canadian dollars and Canadian dollars only. It is $90. It is 1 hour. For those of you in the UK, the EU, the US, just to name a few, your financial system's a little bit stronger than ours, which means this is a fantastic deal for you. I will leave a link in the description below if you are interested in booking that private consultation with me. And just a reminder, it is a limited time offer. Going into the next. Now, I have to go into this a little bit, Pisces. I want to say Happy New Year. And I understand that there are a lot of people that believe that our current calendar system is incorrect and that we are using the wrong calendar system and we're supposed to be on a 13-month system and not a 12-month system and so on and so forth. I get it. I'm well versed in it. I understand. However, here we are, and we've just moved into, or we are moving into, I'm recording this at the end of December with the intention of covering the time frame between January 1st and January 15th. So the timing's a little funny for our current modern language, but Happy New Year. Let's leave it there. All right, Pisces. Now, the last time that I saw you guys, it was the end of December, and your work was you had some new ideas. You were working at bringing those new ideas into manifestation and into reality. But in order to be able to do that, the cards indicated that you had some shadow work that you were going to be looking at. So without any further ado, let's dive in. Let's start pulling some cards for you. I do want to say, for those of you who are new here, I do not edit my videos. What you see is what you get. Oh, I had one more announcement. The other announcement is that when Hay House held their most recent sale, I did order some new cards for myself. And so I do have a whole deck of yes, no. So at the end of this video, I will be pulling cards for your yes, no questions. Please start thinking about your yes, no questions right now. And at the end of the video, I will give you an opportunity to ask that question and we will ask the cards for a response for you. Okay, Pisces, so let's get going and let's pull your cards. First cards that we're going to pull for you, Pisces, are going to be cards of where you are at now here as I do this reading for you at the end of December 2023. Okay, let's take a look. Okay. The very first card in your reading is the 10 of Rainbows, also known as the 10 of Pentacles. This card is called We Are the World from this particular deck. It's from the Osho Zen deck. And you also have the Ace of Cups going with the flow. So what this is telling me, I'm just going to get a little bit more comfortable here. What this is telling me, Pisces, is that where you are at now in relation to the instructions or what the cards had told you last month is that with this going with the flow, it looks like you are in the process of really truly digging into the manifestation of what the cards last month indicated you wanted to manifest. But it also indicates that there may be a little, intuitively, I'm just picking up that there may be a little bit more shadow work that you need to do at this time. I don't know why. I just keep picking up that there is more shadow work, but we're going to pull some more cards here for you, Pisces, in just a moment. So let's first look at the 10 of Pentacles, also known as the 10 of Rainbows. We are the world. This card is indicating that you have an opportunity to be able to have whatever you want in the world, provided, right? There's always that caveat, provided that you put away for the future. Now, in my animal tarot deck, this card has a squirrel on it because the meaning behind this card is make sure that you are squirreling away enough for the future, for that day when you're no longer going to be working, for example, putting away enough money for retirement and so on. Now, I am not a certified financial advisor. I am not giving you formal financial advice, obviously, and as well, this is a general overall reading. But what I am giving you is generally accepted common sense knowledge about our financial abundance. And if we want to be able to travel the world, have whatever we want, have a very comfortable life going forward, then we also have to create a balanced budget for ourselves, right? We have to make sure that we are squirreling away sufficient for the future. We have to plan for the future. And it's not just about money. It is also just in general planning for our futures. And that's what this card is saying, Pisces, is that right now, plan for your future. Anything that you're doing right now, be doing it with a view to the future while not actually living in the future, because when we live in the future, we create anxiety, right? I don't know why that's coming up right now. Living in the past causes depression. Living in the future provides us with anxiety. Living in the here and now, in the present moment, gives us that calm sense of, okay, going with the flow. This is the Ace of Cups. This card indicates that there may be a new relationship on the horizon or a project, a manifestation that you are currently in the process of starting and working towards may require an emotional commitment for this new beginning and this new manifestation. And it may also indicate that there may be a partner coming in for you. So just be on the lookout for that, Pisces. All right, we're going to move into what are you focusing on? And again, I'm going to use one of my new decks here. Focus for Pisces, first half of January. Okay. We just have the one card that's jumped right out for us, and it did jump out upright, and it is the High Priestess. The High Priestess. Now, the High Priestess, of course, exudes feminine energy. Feminine energy is about kindness, compassion, empathy, and so on. But the High Priestess is also, as depicted here on this card, let's see if we can get this to focus. Maybe. And it doesn't want to completely focus on it, but you get the general idea. As depicted on this card, the High Priestess is the most psychic, intuitive, empathic character in the tarot. This is the one that people who are looking to expand their consciousness and move into more psychic awareness of what we would call the unseen world, this is the card that comes up for them, Pisces. So this is what you are currently focusing on, taking off a blindfold and being able to see more of the unseen world. But it's not just about seeing it. It is also about actually experiencing it. And it is about, sorry, I'm just going to adjust that down, being blinded because the sun is out. This is also about understanding it on a deep deep basis. It is not just about, oh, I want to become psychic for the sake of being psychic because I want to be able to read other people's minds. This card is a call to that deeper understanding of the world around us and how it works, and a deep call to our intuition and listening to that which is part of the unseen world. And so, yeah, Pisces, I want to say, it looks like you're really stepping up and stepping into what in the past was discouraged. In the past, it was referred to as the esoteric, the dark arts. There have been all sorts of names with a hint of negative connotation when we call up someone who is psychic, gypsy, those who deal in the unseen world, mediums. But many of us are waking up to that right now, Pisces, and it looks like 2024 this is going to be part of your journey. I do want to say, Pisces, that what I'm picking up intuitively, psychically for you is that many of you have already had what may be called a psychic awakening or, a spiritual awakening. But for many of you, you have been hiding it, keeping it on the down low, keeping it very quiet. You're still embarrassed about it because of some deeply held belief systems. That's what I'm picking up for you, Pisces. So, this card coming out and what you're focusing on may also indicate that you are on the verge of coming out of the proverbial broom closet with regards to what some people refer to as gifts, and they're really not gifts. All of us possess these. It's just a question of actually waking them up within ourselves. Moving on over to difficult influences and challenges. Let's see what comes up for Pisces. I think I might have to go through the deck a second time. Maybe. Nope, there it goes. I wasn't quite sure if that card was going to come out or not. I might end up with that. Okay. Okay. In your difficult influences and challenges, you have the Ace of Swords. Interesting. Really interesting, because here you have the Ace of Cups, indicating you're kind of going with the flow. You're working towards manifesting something new. It's a project that's coming from your heart. And here you have the Ace of Swords. Now, the suit of swords really deals with the mental mind. It deals with the brain and doing things without a lot of emotion. But it is also an indication that this is coming up in your difficult influences, which is indicating that when you're looking to focus, this is your card of focus for January 1st through the 15th. You're focusing on developing your intuition and your psychic skills. That's the simple way of saying it. The Ace of Swords coming up in your difficult influences is indicating, Pisces, that you're letting too much of this come into intuition. Okay. Intuition doesn't come from the mind. Our minds may process what comes in as intuition, but intuition doesn't come from our physical brains. And that's what you're bumping up against. That's one of your challenges this month. You have the Emperor here as one of your challenges. The Emperor speaks to masculine energy. When you are working with this, and this is your focus, and you are working on spiritual awakening, spiritual development, developing your intuition, what do you not want to do? You don't want to hit it over the head with a hammer. spiritual development, the development of intuition, the development of mediumship type skills, all of these things come from compassion, empathy, the more feminine qualities. And I'm not talking about men versus women here. I'm talking about masculine qualities versus feminine qualities. And every human has both. And it's when we choose to use these different qualities. So when you are looking towards developing this, you're going to want to use a lot of those softer feminine qualities. You're going to want to use your emotional side. You're going to want to use your compassion and your empathy. And this coming up in your difficult influences, the Emperor, he exudes a lot of masculine energies, which means he's coming from the mind. Oh, right, we have the double reinforcement here, coming from the mind. Very little emotion involved. Well, we know that intuition often involves our emotions because there's a sense of empathy and compassion there. And this guy is stubborn, straightforward, and things are black and white. There's a right and there's a wrong, and there's no middle road. When you're dealing with the High Priestess, of course there's a middle road. You're dealing with intuition. So this is coming up in one of your difficult influences. So if you want to expand your intuition at this time and expand your spiritual development, Pisces, you're going to have to let go of the Emperor, let go of the Ace of Swords, and move into some more feminine qualities. And finally, in your difficult influences, you do have the Six of Pentacles here. The Six of Pentacles is what I like to call the karma card. It's the card of, if you have enough to give, then please give. If you don't have enough, then please ask for help. This is indicating that this is a philanthropic card. Okay. Let's move into messages that the universe wants you to hear. Oh my. Let go of ego. You are not the first zodiac sign to receive this card this month, and I highly suspect that you will not be the last. Now, this is your reinforcement with regards to the Emperor versus the High Priestess. Okay. Emperor often comes from a place of ego. Actually, philanthropically speaking as well, there are some aspects of ego in philanthropy. Let go of ego. You are, like I said, not the first zodiac sign to receive this card this month and this message from the universe. A lot of us are coming from a place of ego right now. Why are we coming from a place of ego right now? We're coming from a place of ego because we are fearful, because there are a lot of theories floating around about our futures. I'll leave it at that. If you want to dive deeper into a conversation about that kind of stuff, reach out on a personal level. All right, let's move into what is unexpected for you. Unexpected energies and insights. That one's on the floor. Bend down and get it in just a second. Unexpected for the Pisces. I already know what the card is because it flipped up. I believe that there was just the one card that did that. Where'd it go? Yeah. All right. The Hanged Man, the Awakening card. This particular deck calls it Awakening. It does correspond to the Hanged Man from the traditional tarot. What is this card about? Well, in the past, before we had oracle cards and different versions of tarot, such as the fairy tarot or the witch's tarot and so on, a lot of people would freak out when they got the Hanged Man because they thought it was like the ending of something. And in some ways, it is. It's the ending of seeing things from a 3D world perspective. It's the ending of seeing things from a very black and white perspective. This is about seeing things from a different perspective. It has nothing to do with death or dying, unless, of course, it happens to be death or dying of the ego. Okay. When we see things from the bigger perspective, and everything in your reading right now, Pisces, is indicating that that is what you're working towards. The high priestess here, the challenges that you're facing with opening up that third eye and stepping into a more spiritual life and lifestyle, this Ace of Cups that you've got going on here, this letting go of ego card, everything in your reading is pointing towards you seeing things from a very, very different perspective. And when we're able to see things from someone else's viewpoint, okay, there's that download, there's that saying. I'm going to say that saying in just a moment. When we see things from someone else's perspective, our lives change. And it actually brings us far more empathy and compassion towards others when we can understand where the other people are coming from. And we could take this to a huge global scale, or just from the scale of going into a very, very large metropolis, any metropolis on this planet, going up to the highest building on a clear day and looking out over top of the city and the masses of people. When you're down and you're caught up in your everyday and you're like one of the little rats in the cage or the little ants in the hill, it is very difficult to find connection to other people's humanity. And I really feel like this is part of what is coming up for you right now, and part of the big lesson for you, Pisces, is when you have the opportunity to escape the rat race and see things from a different perspective. And I can tell you from experience, probably the best way to see things from a different perspective is travel. And I'm not talking about traveling to your grandma's an hour away. I'm talking about traveling to a different part of this planet, traveling to a different country, traveling to a place that has a very different culture. So, for example, I'm not talking about traveling from Canada to the United States, because although we are not the same, we are extremely similar in our philosophies, our way of life, the homes that we build for ourselves and so on are very similar. I'm talking about coming from a place of privilege. Sorry, I'm going to go there, Pisces. Coming from this place of being in one of these countries where we can afford to travel, and going to another country and seeing how other people live, because they don't all live like us. That's this perspective. That's what you are being called upon to do. This is what is unexpected, is you being able to turn your life upside down, see the way the rest of the world lives. And that's going to bring you more empathy. And that's going to bring you more compassion. And it is also going to help to expand your awareness, Pisces. Going back to going to the top of a building. If you don't have the opportunity to be able to travel to another country that has a very different culture, a very different diet, a very different type homes, if you don't have the opportunity to be able to travel that way, try going to a big metropolis near where you live, go to a very high building and look out over the metropolis, because that's going to give you perspective on how different everyone is. Some people live in apartment buildings. Some people live in single family homes. Some people have great big expanses of land. Some people are driving fancy cars down there. Some people are driving junk boxes. Some people are walking to where they need to go. When we have the opportunity to see things from a different perspective, that's when our lives really, really begin to change, that's when this really happens. And the other thing I want to point out is that when you are going through this exercise, Pisces, of being able to see things from a different perspective, let go of this. Let go of your ego. Because I can tell you, if you're looking at the way other people live and you're looking down your nose at them, you're coming from a place of ego. If you are looking at another culture and the first thing that pops into your mind is, oh my God, how do they live like that? How can I help them? How can I change them? You're coming from this. That's not your job. That's not your lesson, Pisces. Your lesson is, how can I see things from a different perspective and become more compassionate towards their way of life? Heck, I mean, some of us want to escape the rat race and go and live the simpler life that a lot of people have, right? I know I certainly would love to go live a more simple lifestyle, get out of the city, get out of the rat race. But that's my personal little take on things. All right, Pisces, let's look at your general overall outcome. Do I want to go there? No, I'm getting called back over here. All right. General overall outcome. And then we're going to move into your yes or no question. So start to think of your yes or no question. Okay. So we have three cards coming out. Let's set these down. They're not going to set down nicely. Don't fall. Okay. The first card that we have in your final general overall outcome is the Five of Pentacles, Five of Autumn. This is a card that this is a card that can sometimes be perceived as holding on to things too tightly, holding on to the desire for extreme financial abundance. We're not talking about just being comfortable. We're talking about, that you could probably give $100 to every person on the planet and still have a couple billion in the bank. If that's what you are striving for, this card kind of comes into play. Feeling challenged by money issues for those of us who are, on the general average plane of existence with regards to money. This card may indicate a little bit of difficulty, but this is a card of ask for help. If you feel like you need help, don't be afraid to ask. People who are afraid to ask for help, where are they coming from? Ego. Don't be afraid to ask for help if you need help. You have the Balance card. Now, the Balance card is also a card of ask for help. Okay. The Balance card is a card of ask for other people's opinions and suggestions, but ultimately the decision is yours to make, Pisces. Make that decision from a place of the heart and the mind combined, right? There's heart-brain coherence. I'm not going to get into that right now, but make sure that you are basically, how do I put this? As your general overall outcome from this reading, if you're unsure of a direction that you need to take, if you're not quite sure of understanding this new perspective that you're seeing life from, if you have questions about developing your intuition, if even for that matter, if you have a question as to whether you are coming from a place of ego or whether you are coming from a place of authenticity, ask questions, ask for opinions, throw everybody's answers into a great big cauldron, give it a stir, tap into your heart, tap into your brain, and then make your choice. And you have the Strength card. Now, I do want to point out that you have two cards here, both with lions featured extremely prominently on them. You've got lion over here, and you got the lion over here. We do have a zodiac sign that is a lion, Mr. Leo the lion. Given for your outcome here, Pisces, that you have two Leo the lions in your outcome, it is an indication that there may be a Leo coming in who is either going to challenge you with regards to your spiritual development and the development of your empathy and compassion, and they're going to challenge you with your ego, or they're coming in and rather than challenging you, they are going to be a mentor and set an example for you as to how you can adapt and change and fit into this new energetic mold that has been created for you. Because what these cards are showing me, Pisces, is that you are going through a huge energetic change right now, and you're going to need balance, and balance comes from taking everybody's opinions and answers and then coming up with your own decision. And it also comes from realizing how strong you truly are. You're stronger than you know. Never forget that. All right. Here we go. Please think of your yes or no question at this time. Think of your yes or no question. I am going to mix up these cards for you as you are thinking of your yes or no question. And we have one card that has jumped out. And there's your answer. All right, Pisces. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. If this resonated, please consider giving the video a like and subscribing to the channel. Just a reminder, if you are interested in booking that 13-card reading, it is only available until January the 15th. The link is in the description below. And I look forward to having the opportunity of doing your next reading for you in the middle of January. Thank you.